Welcome back to Ancient Wisdom. Today we're diving deep into a topic that many of you might have heard about but perhaps don't fully understand. The truth about awakening. It's not what you think. Have you ever wondered if awakening is truly as it's portrayed on social media, in books, or even through word-of-mouth stories? As the renowned philosopher Jiddu once said, truth is a pathless land, and it can only be discovered when you stop seeking. So, if awakening isn't what you think it is, then what is it? Imagine Albert Einstein, a scientific genius who also faced internal struggles to uncover profound truths. Could he have achieved greatness without confronting the darkness within himself? In this video, we'll explore common misconceptions about awakening, how it transforms our perception of life, and how to apply mindfulness into daily living. Are you ready to embark on this journey to discover more about yourself? Don't forget to leave your thoughts or comments below. Misconception 1. Awakening is the final destination. Have you ever thought that awakening is the ultimate destination, a place where all difficulties, suffering, and anxieties will vanish, giving way to eternal happiness and perfection? In reality, the opposite is true. Awakening is not the finish line. It's a gateway to an even longer journey. Each new level of awareness brings with it fresh challenges. Just when you think you've understood everything, you'll realize there are deeper layers yet to explore. If you view awakening as the peak of a mountain, you may feel disappointed upon realizing there are still many higher peaks to climb. This might surprise you, but this ongoing process is at the heart of growth. As Carl Jung once said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. Growth never truly stops, and each step forward reveals new horizons. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously remarked, "I have not failed. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His mindset reflects the essence of awakening. It's not about reaching a final goal, but embracing the continuous evolution of self-discovery. So, what do you think? Are you ready to see awakening not as a destination, but as a lifelong expedition? Imagine standing on one summit only to see another towering above woodland that inspire you to keep climbing. Misconception 2. Awakening equals eternal happiness. This concept is often romanticized with idyllic imagery, a peaceful life, a soul free from anxiety, and an everlasting state of bliss. But awakening does not bring endless happiness. On the contrary, it heightens your awareness of pain and discomfort within yourself. You can no longer avoid these feelings as you might have done before. Instead, you must face them head-on. Happiness in awakening doesn't come from eliminating suffering, but from learning to accept it as an integral part of life. This isn't a state of detachment, but rather a harmonious balance between the beautiful and the challenging aspects of existence. As Rumi, the great Persian poet, once said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." Awakening forces you to confront your inner struggles, not to erase them, but to transform them into sources of strength and wisdom. Think about Vincent van Gogh, who channeled his emotional turmoil into masterpieces that continue to inspire millions. His art was born out of pain, yet it became a beacon of beauty and meaning. So how do you feel about this idea? Would you embrace the discomfort of self-awareness if it meant discovering deeper layers of peace and authenticity? Awakening invites you to stop running from your shadows and start integrating them into your journey toward wholeness. Misconception 3. Only special people can awaken. Awakening is often mistakenly seen as a journey reserved for those with extraordinary intelligence or abilities. The truth, however, is that anyone can awaken. This isn't a privilege, it's a potential within every single person. You don't need to become perfect or surpass others to awaken. The only requirement is the willingness to face yourself, both the parts you're proud and the parts you've kept hidden. Awakening isn't a title or a measure of worth. It's a deeply personal journey that is unique and incomparable. As Rumi wisely said, "What you seek is seeking you." Awakening doesn't discriminate, it calls out to anyone ready to listen. Think about Mother Teresa, who wasn't born a saint, but chose to embrace her inner calling to serve humanity. Her awakening didn't come from being special in a conventional sense, but from her courage to confront her own doubts, fears, and vulnerabilities. So, what's stopping you from beginning your own journey? Do you believe you're not ready or worthy? Remember, awakening isn't about being extraordinary, it's about being honest with yourself. Every step you take towards self-awareness brings you closer to your true essence. Misconception 4. Awakening helps you overcome all problems. Many people believe that awakening will solve all the problems in life. However, in reality, it doesn't make difficulties disappear. Instead, it changes the way you perceive and face them. Life will always have its challenges, internal conflicts, and anxieties will still exist. The difference is that an awakened person no longer avoids these issues. They come to realize that difficulties are opportunities to gain deeper self-understanding. Instead of seeing them as obstacles, they view challenges as motivation for growth. As Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, once said, "When we can no longer change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves." Awakening shifts your perspective. It doesn't eliminate hardships, but transforms how you respond to them. Consider the story of Helen Keller, who, despite being deaf and blind, embraced her struggles and turned them into a source of inspiration for millions. Her awakening wasn't about escaping her circumstances, but learning to thrive within them. So, what do you think? Are you ready to stop running from challenges and start embracing them as stepping stones to self-discovery? Awakening isn't about avoiding pain, it's about using it as fuel for transformation. In summary, awakening doesn't bring perfection or promise an escape from reality. It's an ongoing journey of learning to live authentically. It teaches you to embrace both light and darkness, accept pain, and transform it into strength. This balance is where true freedom lies. The darkness in the journey of awakening. As you might already know, when thinking about the journey of awakening, you probably envision the brilliant light of enlightenment, a magical liberation from all constraints, where you are embraced in a state of eternal peace. But what lies behind that light? It isn't the fairy tale ending everyone hopes for, nor is its salvation wrapped in comfort. Instead, it's the raw and filtered unveiling of everything you've buried deep within yourself. This is where the true journey of awakening begins. Awakening isn't just about basking in divine illumination, it's also about confronting the shadows we'd rather keep hidden. Imagine standing before a mirror that reflects not just your face but your fears, insecurities, and unresolved wounds. What would you see? Would you turn away, or would you find the courage to stare back? As Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This confrontation with our inner darkness is not just a step in the process, it is the process. Think about a seed breaking through the soil. Before it reaches the sunlight, it must first push through layers of dirt and darkness. Similarly, the human soul must navigate its own depths, wrestling with discomfort, pain, and uncertainty before it can truly blossom into awareness. Have you ever wondered why some people avoid this journey altogether? Perhaps because they fear what they might discover, or worse, what they might lose along the way. Yet, there's beauty in this struggle. The cracks in our armor allow light to seep in. Every moment of discomfort holds the potential for growth. And while the path may feel lonely at times, remember that countless others have walked it too, each carrying their own burdens, each seeking their own truth. Awakening asks us to embrace both the light and the dark, to integrate them into a harmonious whole. Only then can we step fully into who we are meant to be. The inner darkness and shadow work. The concept of shadow work, introduced by the renowned psychologist Carl Jung, offers a profound way to approach and engage with the darker aspects of ourselves. According to Jung, every individual carries a shadow, a collection of emotions, thoughts, memories, or behaviors that we consciously hide or refuse to acknowledge. This shadow is not inherently evil, it simply represents what we are unwilling to confront. It could manifest as anger, jealousy, fear, or unresolved pain. By repressing these elements, we don't make them disappear. Instead, they linger in our unconscious, subtly influencing our decisions, emotions, and how we navigate life. Imagine carrying an invisible backpack filled with stones you've been collecting since childhood. Each stone represents a suppressed emotion or memory. Over time, the weight becomes unbearable, yet you continue to carry it because you're afraid to unpack it. Shadow work is the process of gently opening that backpack examining each stone and deciding what to keep, what to transform, and what to let go of. As Jung wisely noted, everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. Engaging in shadow work requires immense courage. It demands that you look directly at these hidden parts of yourself, not to eradicate them, but to recognize them as natural components of your wholeness. When you confront and integrate your shadow, you reclaim vital energy that was previously spent on hiding or suppressing it. Think of it like tending to a garden overrun with weeds. If you ignore the weeds, they'll continue to spread and choke the flowers. But if you pull them out one by one, you create space for new growth and beauty. Have you ever noticed how certain situations triggered disproportionate reactions in you? Perhaps a coworker's comment leaves you seething, or an old memory resurfaces with unexpected intensity. These moments often point to unacknowledged shadows within. Shadow work invites you to explore these triggers, asking questions like, why does this upset me so much? What part of myself am I unwilling to face here? Through this exploration, you begin to dissolve the barriers between your conscious self and your hidden depths. Ultimately, shadow work is not about achieving perfection, but about embracing authenticity. It's about understanding that light cannot exist without darkness, and that true awakening comes from integrating both. When you stop running from your shadow, you may find that it holds treasures you never expected: wisdom, resilience, and a deeper connection to your true self. The dark night of the soul. From a Buddhist perspective, the state known as the dark night of the soul is far from unfamiliar. Before attaining enlightenment, the Buddha faced a period of profound suffering, a phase that bore no resemblance to peace, but instead resembled an unrelenting battle with the ego, fear, and deep-seated desires. In that moment, all illusions about the meaning of life dissolved, leaving behind an empty, ambiguous space. Yet, within that void lay the latent potential for enlightenment. Before sitting beneath the Bodhi tree, the Buddha endured his final trials, orchestrated by Mara, the embodiment of delusion, fear, and worldly temptation. These trials took the form of illusions, threats of terror, and the seductive pull of earthly cravings. But rather than turning away, he chose to confront them head-on. This was not merely a psychological test, it was also a symbolic representation of the dark night of the soul, a time when every belief and meaning we once clung to crumbles, forcing us to stand at the precipice of our own abyss. What can we learn from this pivotal moment in the Buddha's journey? Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a cliff, staring into the vast unknown. The ground beneath you has vanished, and there's no map to guide you forward. Do you retreat into the familiar, even if it no longer serves you? Or do you take a leap of faith, trusting that transformation awaits on the other side? As Rainer Maria Rilke poignantly wrote, the only journey is the one within. The dark night of the soul is not a sign of failure or weakness. It is an initiation, a necessary passage on the path to awakening. It strips away everything that is false, leaving only what is authentic and essential. During this phase, individuals often feel lost, disconnected, or overwhelmed by despair. Yet, paradoxically, it is precisely in this emptiness that new possibilities emerge. Like the phoenix rising from ashes, the self is reborn through the process of surrender and acceptance. Have you ever experienced a time when everything you believed in seemed to collapse? Perhaps it felt like the world had turned its back on you, or that life itself had lost its purpose. In those moments, it's easy to succumb to fear or doubt. But what if these experiences are not punishments or misfortunes? What if they are invitations to dig deeper, to question more boldly, and to discover the truth that lies beyond surface-level comforts? The dark night of the soul challenges us to let go of attachments not just to material possessions, but to ideas, identities, and expectations. It asks us to sit with discomfort, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust that even in the darkest hour, light is gestating. Just as the Buddha emerged from his confrontation with Mara to achieve enlightenment, so can we find clarity and liberation on the other side of our own inner darkness. No one walks this path with you. 3 predominant feelings often arise during this journey. 1. Loss. You come to realize that all the things you once deemed important, fame, possessions, or even relationships, are not enough to fill the void within. They are like temporary puzzle pieces, never quite completing the picture of life's true meaning. Imagine building a house on sand. No matter how grand the structure appears, it cannot withstand the tide. Similarly, external achievements may bring fleeting satisfaction, but they fail to address the deeper longing for purpose and fulfillment. The realization of their insufficiency can feel like losing everything you've ever known. Yet, this loss is not an end, it's an invitation to seek something more enduring, something real. 2. Loneliness. Like the Buddha, you may feel abandoned and in the darkness of your own consciousness. No one can enter this terrain on your behalf. This profound solitude forces you to confront the deepest recesses of your being. It's as if you're standing alone in a vast desert, with no landmarks or companions in sight. But remember, loneliness is not emptiness, it's space. Space to rediscover who you truly are beneath the layers of societal expectations, roles, and masks. As Rumi beautifully expressed, the wound is the place where the light enters you. In solitude, there lies an opportunity for self-discovery and renewal. 3. Ambiguity. Every goal, plan, and belief that once served as your guiding compass seems to lose its value. You begin to question, did everything I pursue really matter? What is life truly? These questions are not signs of failure but evidence that you are drawing closer to truth. Ambiguity can be unsettling, yet it is also fertile ground for transformation. Think of it as walking through a dense forest without a map. At first, the lack of direction feels disorienting, but eventually, you learn to trust your instincts and find your way. Like the Buddha, who spent years navigating this uncertainty, you must unravel the layers of illusion, shed outdated beliefs, and face reality in its rawest form. Through the Buddha's experience, we understand that the dark night of the soul is not the end, it is a threshold to rebirth. When you release all attachments, let go of the need for control, and embrace impermanence, you uncover new values and deeper meanings that were previously obscured by ambition and fear. In Buddhism, this phase is not viewed as a meaningless crisis, but as a necessary metamorphosis. Only when you touch the depths of your pain can you open yourself to genuine wisdom and freedom. The Buddha transcended his struggles, and so can you. The question is whether you are willing to sit beneath your own Bodhi tree, face the darkness, and allow your inner light to guide you. Are you ready to surrender to the process, trusting that the seeds of awakening lie dormant within the soil of suffering? After all, it is often in our darkest moments that we discover our greatest strength and our most profound peace. In summary, the darkness in the journey of awakening is not an adversary but a teacher. It brings you face to face with the hidden corners of your being, the parts you once refused to acknowledge. It is within this very darkness that you can discover true light, not the light of perfection, but the illumination born from acceptance and integration of every aspect of yourself. You are called awaken when you live fully in the present moment. Living mindfully in the present is one of the core skills that reconnects you with yourself and the world around you. However, in the fast-paced rhythm of modern life, filled with distractions, we often get swept away by thoughts of the past or anxieties about the future. Have you ever found yourself sitting down for a meal but failing to taste the food, or participating in a conversation while your mind drifts elsewhere? This happens not because we don't wish to be present, but because the human mind operates like an ever-flowing river, constantly pulling us away from the here and now. Mindful living is the ability to bring your awareness back to the present, stepping away from unnecessary worries to truly inhabit the unfolding moment. Mindfulness is not some distant, unattainable state, it is an innate capacity within everyone. It's the way you experience life fully without judgment, without trying to change or control anything. Interestingly, you've likely experienced mindfulness before those fleeting moments when you were completely absorbed in the beauty of a sunset, captivated by a favorite song, or enveloped in the warmth of holding a loved one's hand. The challenge is that these moments often pass quickly. To sustain mindfulness, you need intentional practice and discipline. This doesn't require dramatic changes or a perfect environment. On the contrary, it begins with the smallest actions in daily life. For instance, try paying full attention to the sensation of water on your skin while washing your hands, or listen deeply to the sounds around you as you walk outside. These simple acts anchor you in the present moment, training your mind to become more aware over time. As Thich Nhat Hanh wisely said, the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it. By embracing both the light and the dark, by cultivating presence and awareness, you step closer to awakening. The journey may be challenging, even uncomfortable at times, but it is profoundly rewarding. After all, the most transformative journeys often begin in the shadows, and it is there, in the depths of your own being, that you will find the light you've been seeking. Methods for practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness meditation. One way to practice mindfulness is through mindfulness meditation. Ancient wisdom has shared detailed insights about this technique in a previous video. It's a simple yet powerful method of focusing your attention. You don't need to sit on a yoga mat or be in a perfectly quiet room to begin. Simply find a comfortable position, close your eyes, and focus on your breath. Feel the flow of air as it enters and leaves your body. When your mind wanders, and it inevitably will, don't try to stop or judge it. Just notice the distraction and gently bring your attention back to your breath. This exercise, when practiced consistently every day, not only enhances your ability to concentrate but also improves emotional regulation and reduces stress. Over time, you'll find that mindfulness meditation creates a sense of calm and clarity, even amidst life's chaos. As Jon Kabat-Zinn, a pioneer in mindfulness practice, often says, you can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf. This meditation teaches you how to ride the waves of your thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them. The beauty of mindfulness meditation lies in its accessibility. You don't need any special equipment or hours of free time. Even 5 minutes a day can make a difference. Start small, perhaps during your morning routine or before bed. The key is consistency. Like watering a plant daily rather than flooding it once a week, regular practice nurtures growth over time. Imagine sitting by a riverbank, watching the water flow past. Leaves, twigs, and ripples may pass by, but you remain still, observing without attachment. Similarly, mindfulness meditation allows you to observe your thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. With practice, you'll develop a deeper awareness of your inner world and a greater capacity to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Applying mindfulness to everyday activities. In addition to meditation, you can incorporate mindfulness into your daily activities, such as eating. Instead of rushing through meals, pause and savor the flavors, colors, and textures of each dish. This practice not only helps you connect with your body but also transforms a simple meal into a more memorable and enriching experience. Imagine biting into a crisp apple, feel its juiciness, notice its sweetness or tanginess, and appreciate the vibrant red or green hue. By doing so, you shift from mindless consumption to mindful appreciation, turning an ordinary act into a moment of presence and gratitude. Another powerful technique is the body scan, where you bring your attention sequentially to different parts of your body, starting from the top of your head and moving down to your toes. As you focus on each area, notice any sensations without trying to change anything. This process allows you to identify hidden tensions and release them, promoting relaxation and self-awareness. For instance, you might discover tightness in your shoulders that you didn't realize was there, or a subtle discomfort in your lower back that signals the need for adjustment. The body scan is particularly effective because it bridges the gap between the mind and body, fostering a deeper connection with yourself. It's like giving your body a mental hug, acknowledging every part of it with care and attention. Over time, this practice can help reduce stress, improve sleep quality, and enhance overall well-being. Mindfulness doesn't have to be confined to formal exercises. It can be woven into the fabric of your everyday life. Whether you're brushing your teeth, walking to work, or even washing dishes, you can choose to be fully present. Feel the bristles of the toothbrush against your gums, hear the rhythm of your footsteps on the pavement, or notice the warmth of the water on your hands as you clean. These small moments of awareness accumulate, creating a life lived with greater intention and joy. As you cultivate mindfulness in these ways, you'll find that even the most mundane tasks can become opportunities for growth and connection. After all, life is not found in grand gestures but in the quiet, deliberate moments of presence. Living mindfully isn't always easy, especially when you're faced with uncomfortable emotions or complex situations, the present moment can sometimes reveal pains you've tried to avoid. But it's precisely in those moments that you have the opportunity to understand and heal yourself. Mindfulness isn't about escaping reality. It's about learning to accept it fully, including the pain. Because pain is not the enemy, it's a teacher, reminding you to look deeper within yourself. It's important to remember that you don't have to be perfect to live mindfully. Mindfulness is not a destination to reach but a journey you choose every day. Some days will feel easier, while on others, your mind may be flooded with worries and distractions. That's completely normal. What matters most is that you notice these moments and gently bring yourself back to the present without judgment or self-criticism. Keep in mind that mindfulness is the ability to harmonize with both the light and the darkness within you. Living in the present doesn't mean you only enjoy the positive aspects of life. It also means facing the imperfect ones. When you learn to embrace both, you become more whole, no longer constrained by unrealistic standards. This brings you true freedom, a state of peace that doesn't depend on external circumstances. You don't need to do anything extraordinary to live mindfully. You simply need to be present. Pay attention to the sounds around you, feel the rhythm of your breath, and cherish each moment, no matter how small. When you choose presence, you'll realize that the present isn't just where you live, it's where you truly belong. That presence is the greatest gift you can give to yourself and to those around you. As Eckhart Tolle wisely said, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. In embracing this truth, you unlock the door to a richer, more meaningful existence, one where every breath becomes an act of gratitude, and every moment becomes a chance to reconnect with the essence of who you are. The role of relationships. Relationships are not just simple social interactions, they are the clearest mirror reflecting who you truly are. The journey of awakening will teach you this. Every emotion, reaction, and conflict you experience with others is, in essence, an invitation to understand yourself more deeply. What makes you admire, appreciate, or even dislike someone often stems from the deeper layers of your soul that you need to recognize. Others are not the problem. They are the mirror that helps you see the hidden corners of yourself that you often avoid. Have you ever felt hurt by an unintentional comment from someone? Or found yourself irritated with someone even though they didn't do anything particularly wrong? In reality, these emotions often don't stem entirely from their actions but from unhealed wounds within you. A criticism might deeply wound you not because it's right or wrong, but because it touches a fear inside you. The fear that you're not good enough, not recognized, or unworthy. This is the phenomenon of projection that Carl Jung discussed. The traits and emotions we reject in ourselves are often projected onto others. When you see arrogance, selfishness, or weakness in someone else, ask yourself, what is this reflecting about me? Challenging relationships often hold the most important lessons. The people who make you angry or disappointed are, in fact, unconsciously helping you recognize parts of yourself that need attention. Instead of criticizing them, you can ask yourself, why am I reacting so strongly? What is this emotion reflecting about me? However, relationships are not just about darkness. The people who love you unconditionally are proof of the light within you. When they trust, support, and show compassion, they are reflecting the beautiful qualities in you that you sometimes forget you possess. By looking at them, you'll discover your own capacity for empathy, patience, and love. Of course, not everyone will walk this journey with you. As you change, some relationships may become strained or even fall apart. This isn't failure, it simply means you and they are on different paths. Loneliness may arise, but this is also an opportunity to learn to cherish yourself and nurture relationships that truly resonate with you. This change doesn't require you to abandon those who don't empathize with you. Rather, it's about accepting that everyone has their own journey. To maintain balance, honest and empathetic communication is key. Instead of trying to convince others to understand you, share your experiences humbly. At the same time, listen without judgment, as this fosters deeper connections. Practicing compassion is another way to free yourself from unrealistic expectations. No one is perfect, and recognizing the imperfections in others helps you acknowledge your own flaws. Remember, in every relationship, light and shadow always coexist. Just as you learn to love the imperfect parts of yourself, you can embrace the duality in your connections with others. The foundation of true enlightenment: humility and service. When people think about the journey of awakening, many immediately envision enlightenment as a transcendent state, detached from worldly needs or connections. But the truth is, the deeper you go into this journey, the more you realize the value of connection and service. Awakening is not about elevating yourself above others. It's about becoming a meaningful part of the whole. In this process, humility doesn't diminish you, it opens the door for you to see the true vastness of the world and your role within it. The story of the Buddha serves as the most vivid example of this truth. He did not achieve enlightenment by completely isolating himself from the world. On the contrary, it was within the heart of the world that he discovered the meaning of compassion and service. When he witnessed the suffering of humanity, he didn't choose a path of solitary bliss. Instead, he returned to share the light of his awakening with all beings. This was not an act of renunciation, but the pinnacle of humility, the understanding that true enlightenment is not something to be possessed but something to be shared. Humility does not mean devaluing yourself or denying your achievements. Rather, it is the awareness that true worth lies in how you contribute to and integrate into the flow of life. Sometimes, we fall into the subtle trap of ego, where spiritual accomplishments or profound insights become tools to make us feel superior to others. But the ego, even when cloaked in the guise of enlightenment, remains just another form of attachment. Humility helps you transcend this trap, allowing you to see that awakening is not about you, it's about how you connect with the world around you. Service is the most authentic way to practice humility. When you serve with an open heart, without expecting anything in return, you'll realize that you're not only helping others, but also healing yourself. Service doesn't have to be grandiose. It's not about performing symbolic acts for admiration. Instead, it's about small, sincere actions carried out from a genuine heart. A farmer sowing seeds in a field doesn't seek recognition, yet the golden harvest he produces feeds an entire village. True service doesn't demand acknowledgement, because the happiness and well-being of the community become its own reward. The world doesn't need more people trying to prove their greatness. What it needs are individuals willing to listen, empathize, and act from a place of compassion. So, are you ready to step out of your comfort zone and make a difference, however small but deeply meaningful? Remember, sometimes a single act of kindness from you can illuminate someone else's life. And in that connection, you will find the true light within yourself. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others. In serving others, you dissolve the boundaries of the self and awaken to the inner cadence of all life. This is the essence of true enlightenment, not rising above the world, but sinking deeply into it with love, humility, and purpose. Is awakening truly necessary? Spiritual awakening is often regarded as the pinnacle of the human journey. But is it truly essential for everyone? Or is it simply one of many ways people can choose to live? For many, a fulfilling life doesn't necessarily involve navigating the inner darkness or embarking on complex spiritual journeys. A person who lives simply, content with their family, work, and the small joys of daily life, do they lack anything compared to someone seeking awakening? Ancient wisdom asserts that in reality, no. What matters most isn't whether you awaken, but whether you live authentically as your true self. The idea that everyone must awaken can become an unnecessary pressure, diminishing the value of other paths. Someone who finds happiness in caring for their family, doing work they love, and living harmoniously with others has already achieved balance. Such a life doesn't need to delve deeply into spirituality to hold genuine meaning for them. Simply being content with the present moment is sometimes enough to create a life worth living. No two people are alike, and everyone's life journey carries its own unique colors. For some, awakening is an irresistible calling. For others, living peacefully with what they have is already the peak of happiness. What's important is respecting these differences. Not everyone needs to awaken, and it certainly isn't a measure of a person's worth. As Lao Tzu wisely said, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Whether that step leads to awakening or to embracing simplicity, What truly matters is that it aligns with your authentic self. So ask yourself, are you living in harmony with who you truly are? That, more than anything, defines a meaningful life. Through today's discussion on ancient wisdom, we've explored how the journey of awakening is not a destination, but a continuous exploration of oneself. It doesn't bring perfection or eliminate all challenges, but it teaches us to live harmoniously with both light and darkness in life. As Mahatma Gandhi once said, the greatest change begins with the smallest change within yourself. Remember, awakening doesn't require you to be special or extraordinary. What matters is having the courage to live fully as yourself, accepting every aspect, and loving who you are. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to Ancient Wisdom, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Share this video with your loved ones, as they might also be searching for their own light. Finally, thank you for staying with us throughout this video. The exciting discussion segment will begin in just a few moments, so keep listening to catch every valuable moment.